Welcome in, everybody. We have some awesome news to discuss. We have got to take another journey into the Fifth Circuit, where now the pistol brace rule is back in focus, and this is going to be something you guys are going to want to see, and I can't wait to hear what you guys think about this in the comments field down there. Now, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. And with that, Tim, enough of the setup. How are you doing? We got some great stuff from the Fifth Circuit again.
Yeah, I'm just out Christmas shopping this afternoon. Going to get the Fifth Circuit a nice Christmas card this year. Yeah.
I mean, you got to get a good one because they've been putting in the overtime. They really have been, and they've been efficient. They've been very thorough. I have full marks for the Fifth Circuit recently.
Yeah. They've got their paddleboard out, and they've been spanking away at the ATF.
Man, I tell you what, that's a really good way to say it. I mean, that really is. So if you guys are not familiar, they came down and released a ruling last night. This is the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. And they basically said, about that pistol brace, ATF, yeah, you did the same thing you did with the ghost gun receiver rule. We're going to need to talk about that. So that's what we're going to dive into. So, Tim, you know what? I think it's only fair that we break it right in. It's early in the episode, and we can have some fun with it, all right?
Okay.
Let's do it. So, Mr. Producer number one, please. For the people at home, I've got the actual Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals document right here. This is the Mock versus Garland case, because it is something worth discussing. Now, remember, this is the pistol brace rule where all the independent organizations have their own little personal stays and all these different pieces, right? Well, now let's take a look at what they've done to them. So, this is from the FPC actual release. In New Orleans, Louisiana, today, Firearms Policy Coalition and the FPC Action Foundation announced that the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals has ruled in Mock v. Garland, finding that FPC and FPCAF are likely to win on the merits of their lawsuit challenging the ATF pistol brace rule. The Fifth Circuit also remanded the lawsuit back to the district court with instructions to reconsider the other preliminary injunction factors within 60 days. So, right off the bat, Tim, ATF, you're probably going to lose. It's probably not going to work out.
I would say that's more than likely a straight up 100% chance they're not going to win. When the court goes, you're probably not going to win on merit. Not, wink, wink. Rethink
wink,
this.
Wink, nod. You might want to go to a higher court, see if Alito's sleeping or he's on his game. Because man, they're literally like, you know that frames receivers thing. Yeah, you're not likely to win on the merits on that one. And there's not really an irreparable harm. And, is that the pistol brace rule? Oh, yeah. Probably not going to win on the merits on that one either. We're going to send that one downward so you can't send it upward.
Yeah. I just wish that's not the first time they've made statements like this. And,
right.
And I'm kind of curious why they haven't just thrown the darn thing out at this point. I mean, why haven't they just said, you know what, just go home, ATF, you're drunk. And
well, I really like that phrase. I really love that you drop that occasionally. It's like pieces of goodness. Dude, you're right. But you know what this has shades of, and this kind of has a vibe of? This kind of has a vibe of the Ninth Circuit, and they're sending the AR-15 bands back down to Benitez. The Benitez is just like, I'm just going to put this on my shelf right here. I'm just going to keep this, and I'll have the ruling ready. I'll let you guys know. I swear that man is just sitting there looking at a calendar like, what day would be the most fun? Like this one.
Yeah.
But it's the same vibe. It's the exact same vibe.
Well, I have to admit, it's pretty funny. But ATF, I don't think, is dissuaded whatsoever.
No.
They're just going to keep going.
Can't. I mean, think about it, Tim. Think of it from the perspective. They have a directive from the top, and executive bureaucrats dictated what they're going to do. They just make rules whole cloth. They have no consequences or penalties when they get smoked by the court. Why would you stop? There's no incentive to stop.
Yeah.
It's just like, there's no consequences. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, if you watch their Twitter feed, you can't argue that the ATF is concerned about their public image in any way. So, yeah, I guess they're just going to let it go.
It's true. That is very true. You know what? That was a good Twitter plug. And there is some good stuff on there, to be quite honest.
It's not so much their posts, it's the comments in response to their posts.
It's the comments. It's the roasting. It's the absolutely roasting, 100%. So this is the interesting thing. They actually put a date on it. They actually put a termination date on it. And they said, hey, we're going to need you to figure this out and reconsider the other preliminary injunction factors within 60 days because we're going to extend the original stay 60 days more, and you better have an answer by then. So, I mean, like 2 months from now, Tim, this thing could be completely dead.
I'm hoping. It's so hard with these courts, man, to predict where things are going to go, just like the last time we had a discussion about what the courts might or might not do.
You mean that one time we were filming at 8 a.m. and we were like, yeah, it's going to be 3 or 5 weeks, easy, and then they released it that night.
Yeah, like 2 hours later.
Yeah. That was a good time. Felt real good about that one, Tim. Thanks.
You just never know. I mean, it certainly seems like they're signaling something in their wording, but you never know.
You know, it's like dating in high school. It's like, I would love to go out with you. Like, hey, we're going to go out. When did I say that?
Yeah.
Well,
anyway.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind. You're right. I'm wrong. I don't know. What am I doing? What these things are weird. Well, yeah. So that's just the initial. But I got some more goodness for you here, Tim.
Oh boy, here we go.
So, yeah. So this is awesome. Listen to these quotes, and you're gonna love this because it's gonna resonate with something that we've talked about multiple times. Mr. Producer, let's go number 3, please. Quote, the ATF incorrectly maintains that the final rule is merely interpretive, not legislative, and thus not subject to the logical outgrowth test, writes Judge Smith in the court's opinion. The final rule affects individual rights, speaks with the force of law, and significantly implicates private interests. Thus, it is legislative in character. So I'm just going to stop there, Tim. How many times have you said that?
It is. I mean, since they started doing these things, it absolutely is legislative, because what they've done is taken something and made something new from it, right? This whole decision that braces are now stocks, right? And they go out and they do this, and then they assign criminal penalties to it. And it's not just a slap on the wrist, a $50 fine, and don't do that again. It is 10 years in federal prison, a $250,000 fine for every one of them they catch you with. So, yes, it is very legislative in nature, because they've come up with a brand new law to be broken, and it is a law because it carries the penalty of law, which includes 10 years in federal prison. So, I don't know how they can argue otherwise.
Well, I mean, Tim, it's so simple. The ATF says, no, this is just an interpretation.
Yeah, we're just interpreting the interpretation of your interpretation. Yes.
No big deal. We're good because we've got 3 letters and we're happy. So we're awesome. But yeah, I mean, it's something that just stuck out to me. That $250,000 fine, they really like that $250,000 fine, because we did, on my channel last night, we did some leaks that came out from the New York Times around how many guns they can buy and what's considered a classified dealer and all these different things. And the penalty was also 5 years in prison and $250,000 in fines if you sold more than like 2 or 3 guns. So it's a thing. We're going to talk about that at another time. But that $250,000, I don't know why that's such a important number for them.
Well, hey, on the upside with Bidenomics, in another few years, $250,000 would be like $250.
It'll be a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
You see, always thinking. This is just like, Tim, that one time we were talking about the full auto belt-fed machine guns in France, and you looked at it as a stimulus program because of all the fines.
Yes.
Genius.
Yep.
You're a financial monger is what you are.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I'm telling you.
Man, you are great. You should look into policy decisions. Anyway, so now let me just put this in paraphrase, Tim. And this is the part where we're gonna have a lot of fun, because it's interesting the way they put this from the FPC's perspective. So, said in simplest terms, the Fifth Circuit just indicated that the plaintiffs, Firearms Policy Coalition, Maximum Defense, and FPC's individual members are likely to defeat ATF's pistol brace rule when the merits of this case are finally heard, said Cody J. Wisniewski, FPCAF's general counsel and FPC's counsel in the case. This is a huge win for peaceable gun owners across the nation, a huge win for FPC's members, and yet another massive defeat for ATF and this administration's gun control agenda. So the thing that I love about this is, I mean, he basically just parsed it out, because FPC has this way of doing things where they put these court documents up, and then they always put a little caption, a little paraphrase, like the Cliff Notes, say what this means for you in the end of their little documents, where it's like, this means good things. It's like, I love how they do that. Yeah. Be happy. They always do that. Then they throw it over to their Twitter feed, and boom, Bob's your uncle. They are good to go.
Yeah. If you don't follow Firearms Policy Coalition on Twitter, you need to. I mean, you want to talk about in your face. They don't pull punches. They.
I think that's an understatement.
Yeah. They're definitely not safe for work in many of their posts. Oh,
no. Goodness sakes, no. But that. It's really good for getting information out, and they have some funny stuff, even though it is NSFW.
All right. Well,
acronyms are hard, Tim.
So we got, what, 60 days on this bad boy? So, like you said, 2 months, and we're going to find out where this goes. I really, really want to stay optimistic in that we're going to get these braces out from underneath the ATF's thumb, and people are going to be able to put their braces back on and go about business as normal, and we'll finally be done with this. I hope. But you just never know.
Can hope.
You just never
But
know.
you don't. Tim wants the hope. He's got that little spark of hope in him. I just can't quite trust it. You know, I don't blame you, Tim, but there's something massive about this that we've talked about that's important to discuss in this conversation. You know what happens if that pistol brace roof falls?
Well,
everything falls.
It really sets the stage for, and that's why I guess I'm not as optimistic as I probably should be, given everything that we have information-wise right now, because they got to know that if they do this, that it's going to cause a cascading of events, and it's going to cause government all sorts of problems potentially.
Oh, it's going to be beautiful. Yeah. It's going to be beautiful again if it happens.
If it happens,
I don't want to get too amped about it either. Now you got me all pragmatic. Like, that's a good point, Tim.
Well, you know, if they make the right decision based on the law, then yeah, it could get pretty spicy for the government. But I don't know. The government has a way of protecting itself.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's an organism. All organisms. Rule number one is survival.
Yep. And the courts are part of that organism. So sometimes they do right. Sometimes they don't.
They sure are punching themselves in the face right now. If that's the case, then
yeah. They're definitely steaming towards the wall, one way or the other. We're going to get
great.
Yeah, we're going to get pretty interesting decision.
I'm going to put out good vibes.
Yep,
but
me too.
Whatever.
Until then, we're going to definitely follow this one. Hopefully, the Fifth Circuit has some more little juicy tidbits in store for us in the not too distant future, because it's so fun reading their decisions as of late. If you guys like to be part of our call-in program, there is a link in the video description below. Follow that link. Come on the show. We'll have a great conversation. Thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you guys soon.